All right, so this is Glenn. Thank you so much for coming on here. This is one of the we're trying something a little bit different. So the podcast, of which we've done about 25 episodes, we usually hit it for about 30, 40, 45 minutes each. But Jennifer brought your cause and your foundation. Is that what we call it, a foundation?
Yes.
To my attention, and I said, you know what? This is something. Let's try something a little different. Let's get right to the point. Let's do this kind of a little quicker, but no rush, of course, Glenn. You and I can talk as long as we want. But you have something that we want to get out there, and I think the ParkerCast is an exceptional way to add to what you've already done. This is not your first rodeo, as you said to me. This is not your first podcast, so I could probably learn something from you. But I would just love if you could tell the listeners a little bit, just kind of start who we are. That we got the logo, the Noah Bates Foundation. As soon as I say that, I know probably 30, 40, 50, 60% of the listeners know. But Noah Bates Foundation.
The Noah Bates Memorial Foundation was founded in November of 2022, following the death of my 11-year-old son in May of 22. He was tragically killed in a UTV rollover accident, and Katie and I set forth we wanted to do something to keep us motivated in life going forward. We wanted to keep his name spoken in the community. And so we decided that we were going to start a memorial foundation. Our dear friend Jen, she has spent her entire life in the nonprofit world. And 3 days after his passing, we were sitting on my back porch, and I asked her, I think I want to do a foundation for Noah. And she said, well, you have a couple of options. One, you could do a foundation that's just a pass-through, or you could do a foundation that you have to relive the most tragic day of your life, every day of your life. And me being the hammerhead that I am, I said, give me what's behind door number 2.
All right.
So we started the foundation, and we've made some great strides over the past 3 years.
Well, everything you just said is heart-wrenching. It's, as you told me off camera, you said, ask any questions you want. You've been through it all. There was one thing that you just said that actually kind of raised a flag for me, or piqued my interest. You said, we want to do something. How are we going to keep ourselves going? And this is all about Noah, so I don't mean to, go this in a different direction. But that, I got 3 daughters. What if something were to happen? That's the question I'd be asking. Of course I want to honor my child. That's first and foremost. Please don't get me wrong. But how do I keep myself going? And that was interesting. You said that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, it's a testament to mental health, first and foremost. And, that day was such a overwhelming day that I can honestly say that if it wasn't for my faith and my belief in Jesus Christ, there is absolutely no way that I could have filled all the calls, made all the calls, notified, family, friends, made the arrangements with the funeral home. I mean, within an hour of his passing, I was getting a call from the funeral home in West Texas asking me, how do you want us to process his body?
Was it pretty instant?
Oh, yes, he was killed instantly. It was traumatic brain injury. The vehicle rolled over. He was ejected from the vehicle. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt, nor was the other 2 boys that was on there. Just happened to roll his direction, and the vehicle landed on him, and it killed him instantly.
So you just said seatbelt, and I know that when we were setting up some of our props here, you brought this awesome hat and the koozie, this pledge to safety. So does that involve, seatbelts, I would imagine, or some sort of age requirement? What are you thinking here?
Well, the pledge, we have the pledge seal there.
Which this will go on my golf cart.
Yes, that's the goal. So we pass these out, and we ask as a reminder, look, if you're riding a UTV and it has seatbelts as an option, please buckle them up and let this be a reminder. Display it inside of your vehicle. If you have a ATV, one that you straddle and ride, put this on the side. Make that be a reminder to put on a helmet. And if you have a golf cart, just stick it inside. Educate your kids on how to, adequately drive that vehicle. There is a big gap between awareness and reality.
So
and I
almost feel
learned
like-
that the hard way.
I almost feel like I should tell about Brenna. We have a golf cart. We bought it during COVID, loved it. And my daughter, who was she was like 16 and a half. She was in the passenger seat, and we were slowing up. And she got the idea in her head that, she's seen it on cartoons and movies. She could run at the speed of the golf cart. So she kind of jumped off and tried to run with it, and obviously face planted, wiped out. She still has a couple scars to this day. And it was like, oh my God, what was she thinking? We were going slow. I thought we were taking the proper precautions. We were trying to make sure everything was safe. But you don't even know what they're thinking. So, I mean, the seatbelt thing, that would have solved that problem right there. And that's a big one. How many, do you know about, are you advocating for, like, nationwide? Do they have seatbelt requirements for these ATVs or golf carts?
The laws surrounding off-road motor vehicles are so sporadic state to state, they make no sense. Just having some consistency across the United States would be fantastic. But each state writes their own rules. And Texas has you have to wear a seatbelt or you have to wear a helmet.
Okay.
However, there's nobody enforcing that. That's got to be a parental decision. And I will be the first to tell you that, I didn't set the best example for my son. And had I reinforced what he should have been doing, perhaps that day he would have had his seatbelt on and things would have been different. But also, there was no parental supervision out there on that ranch the day that the accident happened. And had there been parental supervision, I don't think the boys would have been doing what they were doing.
But, so many of us, maybe it's dads more than moms, I guess, but so many of us, this is kids play. This is how they play, whether it's a BB gun or it's an ATV or whether it's roughhousing. Golly, it's oftentimes that is just, you got to scratch your elbows a little bit. You got to scratch your knees. That's how you learn. And how do you reconcile that, like, philosophy? Because we want the broken, but we don't want. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud here. I haven't formulated my thought, but how do you? I don't know. How do you reconcile?
Well, I would say choose your hard.
Okay.
And when I say choose your hard, yes, we understand that it is difficult as a parent to be the bad guy and set rules and enforce the rules and follow up that we're doing the right things. But that's a whole lot easier hard than having to make arrangements to bury your child. So choose your hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like that, absolutely. So when you're talking about events like this and the foundation, is this how do folks get involved, or how do they become advocates or help your foundation or contribute, or how are we doing this as a foundation, as a non-for-profit that Jennifer's helping with?
Well, to date we have been raising money and driving everything through events.
Okay.
And as we move forward, we would like business entities to come alongside of us and partner with us, be it volunteers, be it financial resources. There's a variety of ways that people can contribute to help us spread this message. My goal is I want this thing to be nationwide. I want to be having conversations across the entire United States about off-road motor vehicle safety. And look, we are not one of those groups that are anti-ATV or anti-UTV because we lost our son. We support it. We 100% support it. These are valuable tools in ranching today. Years ago, it used to be you did everything on horseback, right? Today, you do everything.
Sure there was accidents with young boys and girls on horseback too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But in today, ranching is done differently. It's done on these vehicles. And now it went from horseback to horsepower. But you got to respect the machine. And, having an age-appropriate machine for the child that's riding it is critical because it...
Oh, age-appropriate machine. Yeah. So dad or mom might be
age and size.
Yeah, and size. And we've seen the smaller ones or mid-size ones out there. But, yeah, mom or dad might be able to handle a different size vehicle
Absolutely. And we got a notification, it's probably been about 5 weeks ago now, that it was a friend of a friend, but they had a 5-year-old son that was riding an 800cc ATV. There's no way that this little boy's body weight could adjust and change the trajectory of that vehicle. Lost control, had an accident, and one half of his brain is dead today. And that is a nightmare that I couldn't even begin to imagine. To have to live with that every day of my life going forward.
Yeah, that's a different scenario for sure. Yes, it's a different scenario for sure. So when you said nationwide is your hope, is there one question I was going to ask? Is there a nationwide movement or organization kind of already, or are you hoping that Noah Bates becomes the nationwide movement? Is there a network of grieving families already that you've been able to tap into, or is not really? It's all just kind of scattered.
Yeah, it's kind of scattered, and it's hard because of HIPAA and all the things. It's hard to get a lot of the data. But we have partnered with Texas Health Resource Hospitals, which is a major hospital here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have also come alongside with Cook's Children's and Palo Pinto General out in Mineral Wells.
Yeah.
We've worked with them. We've done an event out there.
Have you done anything with the local ATV sales and distribution folks? Power Sport. I mean, we have different ones in Hudson Oaks and around the area.
Believe it or not, that's very difficult to break into.
No, I can believe it, actually. As I was asking the question, I was kind of predicting the answer.
Now, we have partnered up with one organization down in Granbury.
Yeah.
It's a dealer. It's a local dealer, and they have been so supportive. They've provided us a vehicle to use for our foundation events. It's a very safe vehicle. It's actually the safest you can get.
Nice.
And they donated that to us for a year.
What are some of the foundation events?
We do Super Safety Saturdays within our community here in Parker County, partnering with Texas Health Resource Hospitals. We did them in Parker County. We did them in Fort Worth, Tarrant County, and then again we did this event in Palo Pinto County. We have spoken at a couple of small schools. The goal would be to take this to where that we could get large independent school districts on board, have us come in and speak, especially in the fall when kids are getting ready to hop on one of these things and go hunting. Every kid has to take a hunter safety course, and then we load them on a vehicle that could kill them, and we send them off in the darkness to go get this big buck, and there is no...
Yeah, that's interesting because in let's say the water world, you have to get a fishing license and a boater safety license if you're going to drive the boat. So you have to get both. So there is like precedent out there in the industry in the U.S. Yeah, that's interesting. So obviously there's probably a website or a Facebook site that folks can go to.
Oh, absolutely. On Facebook, it's Noah Bates Memorial Foundation.
Okay.
Our website is nbmf32.org.
Say that one more time.
nbmf32.
Oh, NB. Okay.
.org.
.org. I was looking at the hat. NBMF
for Noah Bates Memorial Foundation.org. Yes.
.org. Love you. And how long have we been doing this? When did the incident occur?
It was May 15th of 2022.
May 15th, 2022.
And we founded the foundation in November of 22. We really didn't do anything. We were trying to get our wheels under us. And then we've developed an educational safety curriculum that we use when we go to do events. We really didn't start doing anything with it until July of 23 when we had our first inaugural event. And we have since had the third annual event for that inaugural event.
Very cool.
Yes.
What have been some of the biggest hurdles, you think, in starting this?
Really, a lot of parents give us a wink and a nod.
Okay.
And, they don't think it'll happen to them, but I never thought it would happen to me either. And life knocks on your door in strange ways. And if you're not, it just shows up unexpectedly.
Well, it did. And we all, my wife and I both, as soon as I told her who was coming to sit down here today, we knew the story. So, I mean, this is something, we live off the lake, and this traveled through the airwaves and through social media here in Parker County when it originally happened. There was a local family. So, I mean, this was something that was on Facebook. And did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? And it was, you're absolutely right. It's so weird. It's such a human phenomenon. I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or what, but you don't think it'll happen to you.
Yep.
And and then it does. Business partner I started this with is since passed from cancer. You don't think that'll happen to you, right? It happens to somebody else, not you. And it's like, no. That's not how it works. So no, life is very interesting that way, the way it does kind of twist and turn and happen. And I'm not looking forward to my twists and turns.
Well, I can tell you, as horrific as this event was for Katie and I, and it's kind of a cliche, and it's a quote from Shawshank Redemption. Mm-hmm. After the passing of Noah, we kind of curled up in the fetal position, and we didn't know what we were going to do because we were distraught. And about 3 or 4 days in, I told her, Katie, we've got to get busy living or we got to get busy dying.
Shawshank Redemption, brother.
That's it. And so we decided that we were going to get busy living. And
was that your only child?
No, we have a daughter that is going into her sophomore year. Okay. She goes to East Central University in Oklahoma. She plays collegiate volleyball.
Wow.
So
awesome.
We're super excited about that. Yeah.
That's got to be some fun. Volleyball's like one of the most underrated spectator sports in America. I love watching volleyball. It's so fast-paced, exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's great. How has she handled all this? I mean, is she getting on board with the foundation? Is this?
Well, it's hard to get a read on her. She's such an introvert. We're all still in counseling 3 years later. Okay. So we're reaching out and we're utilizing the mental health resources that's available to us.
Love it.
And people don't realize there is such a shortcoming of mental health resources.
Yeah, for sure.
And we spoke at the trauma conference for Texas Health Resources back in May, and an audience member asked that question: was there resources readily available to you, and did people reach out to you? Mm-hmm. And the answer was no. We had to seek out everything that we had.
Yeah, that's not
and when you're going through it and you're in the fire, mm-hmm. it's difficult, but we knew that we had to do it. And look, the divorce rate is about 85%
for the death of a child.
For the death of a child,
yep.
And we elected to turn that in the right direction.
Nice.
And by the grace of God, we have grown closer. Katie and I have grown closer together. We've grown closer with Christ, and it's hard to say this. People won't understand it most likely, but there has been incredible good that has come from Noah's passing. Now, I would give anything on this world
to switch it and have
it back.
Yep.
But we don't get a redo on this situation. So we've just got to chart the course, and we got to make an impact to save lives and make a difference. And I believe that we're doing that with this foundation.
So to wrap it up, although what you just said could be our wrap-up line, but as we finish up here, I mean, how do folks get involved? What's your recommendation? Noah Bates Memorial Foundation. Is it to visit the website? Is it to the businesses, the donations?
All the above.
All the above. You got anything coming up?
We are in the process of planning our first golf tournament.
So we'll be on the lookout for that.
And that'll be in the fall,
Excellent.
This fall.
As it should be. It's too hot in the summer.
Yes, way too hot. September, October timeline.
October,
yes.
Okay.
So we're in the process of getting that fired up. Other than that, we do not have another event scheduled for this year. But, the easiest way is to connect with us through our website at nbmf32.org.
Will do. We'll pass it on, and we'll post that on the bottom here of the podcast. Glenn, I appreciate the candor, the honesty, and then everything you're doing. This one's mine, right?
Yes, sir. Put that on your vehicle.
Pledge to safety goes back on the golf cart. I park it outside of the Lake Weatherford Marina more times than I should, and we'll make sure that we pass the message on. Thank you so much, and we'll keep Noah's memory in our thoughts.
Well, thank you for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to come on and share our story.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.